Well, hello everyone. My name is Dave. I'm going to be giving you guys a quick instructional video about one way to do caricatures. Now, there's a bunch of different ways, so um, I won't go into everything. But this is just one way. It's probably one of the fastest, and the results end up looking really good. So let's go ahead and get started. We got this this guy here. We're going to be focusing on him. Now the first step to doing a caricature is actually getting in your head what you're going to do with it. So you have to decide what kind of shapes does this person's face have. Excuse me. What kind of features do you want to accentuate? How cruel do you want to be when you're caricaturing them? So we've got this guy here. So the points that that jump out to me first is, for one, he's got this part of his cheek that sticks way out here, and the rest of his head it seems like kind of bottom heavy, like this right there. That's what you focus on when you first see this guy, or at least that's what jumps out to me first. So what we're gonna do is just get a basic shape of his head. So well, really, all we got is we got his cheek that pokes out there, and then just kind of curves down in, and the rest of his neck. Now, because the bottom of his face is so stinking big, we're gonna make the top of his head comparatively smaller, even though he does have a lot of forehead showing here. But in the caricature, if he has a tiny forehead, it's going to make the bottom of his face look just that much bigger. So I got his head. So we'll just start off with that right there. So we've got a very rough sketch of the basic outline of his face. Now, again, kind of to accentuate how big the rest of his face is. His mouth in this photo seems pretty tiny compared to the rest of his face. So we're gonna start off giving him kind of a small mouth here. And then his nose is kind of big. But anyway, so that's the first step, is just deciding what shape you want this guy's face to be in and what features to accentuate. Now, I've got the rest of the video recorded, so we're gonna just cut to that now. Okay, so the method we're going to be looking at today is a way where you take a black and white drawing, shaded in, and outlines and everything. The drawing itself is complete, and then you go under it and apply the color. And it's very effective because it makes the coloring and the shading of that very easy. So now we're just gonna put the lines in. Now right about here, I discovered that the black and white that I used doesn't allow for colors to show under it. So that's one thing to watch out for. Make sure the tools you're using will allow color to be under it, because it's just annoying if you have to go back and fix your problem. And especially if you're working on a schedule, you don't need to take any more time than it already is. So we've outlined it, great. So now what we're going to do is apply the big areas of shading. So just get a broad brush and just block in where most of the shading is, like on the sides of his face. And then you can go in and add a little detail like that. And we're going to continue to add detail as it goes along. So from here on out, it's pretty self-explanatory. We're just taking a look at the reference photo and applying the shadows and the highlights from that. You don't need to do that, especially when you're doing caricatures. You can make it look really cartoony. It's your personal preference. If you like the very realistic looking caricatures, great. If not, then you wouldn't need to put this much detail in it. But we're gonna make a realistic looking one. So right now we're using shadows and highlights to define shapes. We're not using lines quite as much, and that's something to try to learn, to just use shapes instead of lines to define it, because it looks more real. It looks softer. This guy's a big round face, so we don't want a lot of hard, sharp lines, like, distracting from the whole shape of the caricature's face. So we've added some shadows, and then you can go in and add highlights where especially you want things to pop. For instance, reflections on teeth, or normally there's a shine mark on people's cheeks or the ends of their noses. So different things like that. Again, we're pretty much just sticking with what the photo does here. Now, with the shirt, when somebody wants a caricature done of themselves, whether it's like a quick 5-minute thing at a stand, or someone wants you to do a more detailed one like this, they don't care so much about the clothing. So we're not going to take a whole lot of time and add a bunch of detail and shading to the clothing, because what they want is the face to really look like that person. Now, of course, we don't want the clothing to look bad, but at the same time, we don't want to go overly detailed. So now the black and white's done, we're going to add the color under it. Find a nice medium shade, not too light, not too dark, of the guy's skin tone, and just go on a bottom layer and fill it in like that. We've got these weird smudge things. We're going to take care of that later, but that was caused by using the wrong tool earlier. So here we'll just use the dodge and the blur tool on the color layer to just further define the shapes. The black top layer, helps out in this, but we also have to change the color too to make it pop and look more real. So we'll just do that. Now the burn tool is very good because it doesn't just add black to whatever color you're applying it to, but it actually, it makes it more kind of a rich color. Like, it actually makes it a little bit more red when we use a blur tool on this, which is perfect because in the reference photo, that's exactly what his face does. So now we're just going over, looking at the reference photo, and copying what we see, and adding more detail. Now if it helps too, you can go back into the top layer and erase some of the black and white in areas where you want it to be highlighted. That just further helps the entire thing to pop. So now what we're going to do here, take your eraser tool, low opacity, maybe 25% or less, and it kind of gets rid of those little smudge marks. We can just fade it into the rest so you don't really see it anymore. Add some more defined details. This is going by really quick, but in principle it's very simple. It's all just light and dark, add detail, look at the photo. That's, and practice. Absolutely lots and lots and lots of practice. So give it a once over, kind of looking from far away. Most important, sign your name, because people want to know who did it, who's responsible for the awesomeness that is your picture. Alright, well, we're done. I hope this video was helpful to all those who are trying to learn how to draw caricatures. Keep it up. Don't ever stop, and just keep on practicing, and you will definitely get there. Feel free to check out my channel page for more, and thecustomarts.com as well to see a lot more illustrations. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all later. Bye.